As y'all see how fast my face changed when he would have put it on the door. Like, at first, I was laughing and stuff. But you heard, like, if you watched the end of that last clip, you heard, like, bring her out of the bathroom. My face changed so fast. I was like, oh, Lord. Then, mind you, I hate this hotel because behind the bathroom door wasn't even locked. So he walked in, and next thing that was like, boom. Throw it down, tussling, boom, boom, boom. Man. And then Raphael tried to do something nice for his birthday. Decorated hotel, jet ski, spa day. Like, I had a whole itinerary, ACV riding, Father's Day thought, boom, Christmas talk. Like, it never fails. I think that's our way of celebrating holidays. Because, like, it's weird to say, but that's the truth. Like, bitch, we always throw down. Because as y'all can see in the last video, my face, like, I ain't have to cut my eye, but, bitch, we too down. Like, only if y'all fucking knew. And, babe, we supposed to be, like, the beach right there, we sitting high, double balcony, but babe, he wanted to throw down, so had to do what it do. I'ma call y'all.
The next day, niggas coming up to me, yo, what's good, fam? Yo, what's up, fam? What's good? Whoa, niggas who ain't never say hi and bye to me before. I'm talking about, what's up, fam? You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling. Ooh. I'm like, damn. They fucking with the kid. I'm like, damn, hold on. I'm talking about, let me find out. I'm like, damn, bitch. So they like, yeah, okay, I'm working. It's another nigga come up. I'm working. You know, I work in a warehouse.
On a warm November night in Broward County, police lights painted the street red and blue. And inside a parked car, officers made a discovery that left an entire online community shattered. A 21-year-old TikTok star, loved by millions as Girlalala, had been shot. And the only other person in the car was her boyfriend. Maurice Harrison wasn't just another influencer. She was magnetic. A vibrant, unapologetic creator whose confidence pulled people in instantly. Every video, every hairstyle change, every laugh felt like proof that she was headed somewhere big. But at 10 p.m. on November 14th, everything that made her shine was replaced by one devastating truth. The person accused of ending her life was the man she had loved, trusted, and defended for years. This wasn't a break-in. There was no stranger in the shadows, no masked attacker. What police found pointed to something far more heartbreaking. A private argument spiraling into a fatal confrontation right inside the car where she felt safest. And almost instantly, the internet erupted. Her fans dug up old TikToks, old lives, old videos where she joked about relationships, jealousy, loyalty. Videos that had once been funny, but now felt like warnings no one paid attention to. Because the public only saw the glamorous part of Girlalala. The bold energy, the humor, the confidence. But in private, friends say the relationship had tension, moments of intensity, moments she never fully explained. So now the world is asking, what really happened inside that car? Was this a sudden explosion of anger? Or was something building long before November 14th? And why did only one person walk away alive?
Why I'm going to jail? If I tell y'all one more time why I'm going to jail, I did fucking fraud. That's why I'm going to jail.
A beloved influencer shot in the passenger seat. Her long-term boyfriend arrested at the scene. Millions of fans grieving a person they felt they knew, while detectives try to trace the final minutes of her life. Shout out to the Crime Bitz family. Thank you for always supporting these deep dive stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a case. Because to understand how everything unraveled that night, we have to go back. Back to who Maurice was, what she was building, and the love story that now feels far more complicated than anyone realized. Before the headlines, before the flashing lights and the police reports, Maurice Harrison, better known online as Girlalala, was a young woman carving out a space for herself with sheer charisma and talent. Born and raised in South Florida, Maurice grew up surrounded by family, friends, and a community that loved her boldness. Even as a teenager, she had that unmistakable spark, the kind of presence that made people turn their heads when she walked into a room. She was funny, fearless, and unfiltered in a way that made people feel instantly connected to her. By 21, she wasn't just another creator. She was a rising force. With over 200,000 followers across platforms, she built her brand on humor, wig transformations, makeovers, confidence tips, and that signature energy that made followers say, I feel like I know her. Maurice was a hairstylist, a creator, a performer, and a natural entertainer. In the LGBTQ+ community, she stood out even more. Someone young queer followers looked up to because she showed what confidence looked like with no apologies. Her wig installs were fast, clean, and dramatic. Her comedy skits hit every time. And her real talk moments made fans feel like she was speaking directly to them. People watched because Maurice brought light. People stayed because she felt real. Behind the camera, she dreamed big. Brand partnerships, larger platforms, maybe her own hairline one day. She talked often about leveling up, about expanding her business, about finally stepping into the woman she always wanted to become. And it wasn't just ambition. She had the community to back her. Her followers didn't just view. They engaged, supported, defended, uplifted. Maurice wasn't just building a platform. She was building a family. And in that world was Shanoid White Jr., someone who had been in Maurice's life for years. Not a villain, not a shadow, simply a young man she trusted deeply. Their relationship wasn't new. They had history, memories, long stretches of closeness that made them feel inseparable at times. Many fans didn't even know much about him until after the tragedy. But those who did recognize him from old clips remembered moments where he spoke about anger, being bullied when he was younger, and refusing to tolerate disrespect. Those resurfaced videos led some followers to read deeper meanings into his personality. But it's important to emphasize, these were public interpretations, not confirmed truths. Still, friends later admitted they sensed something under the surface. Because while Maurice glowed online, all confidence, comedy, in private, the relationship sometimes carried a different tone. Not constant, not always visible, but present. A quiet tension that people close to her noticed in small moments. A shift in tone, an argument cut short, a disagreement that lingered longer than usual. As Maurice's platform grew, so did the pressure. Social media brought attention, not all of it positive. Fans say jealousy, misunderstandings, and loyalty became recurring themes. Arguments allegedly happened. Passion, too. Moments that viewers later labeled as red flags, even though those interpretations only came after everything fell apart. What's clear is that Maurice was on the brink of something big. Her visibility was rising. Her audience was expanding. Her confidence was peaking. Maurice had no idea the biggest wave of her career was coming. And neither did she know that the person she cared about most would be at the center of the tragedy that ended her life. The night of November 14, 2025, began like any other in Lauderdale Lakes. Warm air, quiet streets, and the soft hum of traffic moving along NW 37th Street. Nothing about that evening hinted at the storm that was about to unfold inside a single parked vehicle. Sometime in the early evening, Maurice and Shanoid were together in his car. A familiar place for them, a space where they'd shared conversations, arguments, reconciliations, and everyday moments most couples never broadcast online. The car was parked along the curb, partially under a streetlight, with houses lining both sides of the road. It was ordinary, calm, almost deceptively peaceful. But inside, tension was building. According to reports, a verbal argument began. The topic hasn't been officially disclosed, but investigators later said it escalated fast. What started as raised voices turned sharp, emotional, heated. This wasn't the kind of playful bickering friends had seen before. This was different. The kind of argument where frustration crashes into frustration, where neither side backs down, and where emotions start rising faster than either person can control. A few neighbors later told deputies they heard commotion, muffled voices, movement inside the car, something that made them look twice, but not long enough to understand what was happening. Whether surveillance cameras caught parts of the incident remains unclear. Some outlets mentioned possible footage, but law enforcement has not confirmed this. What is known is that the argument didn't stay verbal. Reports suggest the confrontation became physical inside the confined space of the vehicle. A place barely big enough for two adults suddenly felt suffocating. Words turned into defensive motions, then counter motions. A quick spiral that neither Maurice nor Shanoid could pull themselves out of. Inside that space, in that moment, something shifted. A decision was made. A line was crossed. At some point during the escalation, a firearm entered the situation. Investigators haven't detailed the exact sequence, who reached first, what was said, what triggered the final switch, but they do agree on one devastating point. Everything changed in a single moment. One flash, one sound that shattered the entire night, one shot. Maurice slumped in the passenger seat, the argument ending as abruptly as it had escalated. The silence that followed wasn't the kind that settles after a fight. It was heavy, immediate, irreversible. Neighbors who had heard arguing now heard nothing. A stillness fell over NW 37th Street, interrupted only by the distant noise of a television from a nearby house and the soft hum of the streetlight above the car. Within minutes, seconds, according to some reports, 911 was called. And as the call went through, the reality of what had just happened began to sink in. Deputies arrived quickly. Flashing lights lit up the street, reflecting off the windows of parked cars. And standing at the scene was the man she loved, shaken, stunned, and present as officers approached. Maurice was still alive when first responders reached her. Barely, but alive. She was rushed into an ambulance, sirens cutting through the night as paramedics did everything they could. But even before they reached the hospital, even before doctors could begin to fight for her life, word of the shooting began to leak online. Comments, posts, frantic messages. Her community sensed something was wrong before any official statement existed. Maurice Harrison, Girlalala, was fighting for her life, and the online world was already losing one of its brightest voices. When Broward County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived around 6:51 p.m., the call had come in as an emergency with almost no details, just a report of a woman shot inside a vehicle along NW 37th Street. Moments later, they found 21-year-old Maurice Girlalala Harrison in the passenger seat, suffering from gunshot wounds. Paramedics moved quickly, loading her into an ambulance and rushing her to Broward Health Medical Center. But despite their efforts, Maurice was soon pronounced dead. Outside, deputies immediately shifted into investigative mode. The vehicle became a sealed crime scene. Doors open, lights flashing, officers marking evidence inside the car. They noted the positioning of the seats, the blood patterns, the shell casing, and personal items scattered from the struggle. A firearm was recovered from the scene, and statements from the individual who remained at the location were taken right away. Detectives arrived not long after to take over. They began piecing together the timeline from the ground up. Reports from neighbors of a loud argument. Early statements suggesting the confrontation had become physical inside the cramped space of the car. The angle of the wound and the condition of the passenger seat, which later helped forensic teams determine the direction of the shot. Investigators also reviewed possible surveillance cameras around the neighborhood, doorbell cams, business cameras, anything that might show the moments before or after the shooting. Whether every angle captured something useful hasn't been publicly detailed, but detectives confirmed that video sources were part of the review. Digital data added another layer. Phone records, timestamps, and the sequence of calls all helped investigators reconstruct the final minutes leading up to the fatal moment. And through it all, the statements taken at the scene were compared against the physical evidence inside the vehicle. By the end of the night, based on the totality of the evidence, detectives reached a conclusion. Shanoid White Jr. was arrested at the scene and later charged with first-degree murder. As the investigation moved forward, the world online erupted. News spread instantly. Girlalala shot. Maurice Harrison dead. Her fan base flooded every platform with heartbreak and disbelief. Old clips resurfaced. Lives she'd recorded months earlier were reposted with captions like, "Was she trying to tell us something? And this hits different now." A GoFundMe created by her loved ones began circulating within hours. Donations poured in. Thousands of dollars raised almost immediately as her followers tried to support a family now facing unbearable grief. The community wanted answers. They wanted justice. They wanted to understand how a night that started with an argument could end with one of their brightest voices gone. And investigators believed they had enough to take this case straight into the court system. At this stage, the case against Shanoid White Jr. is still unfolding. He is currently charged with first-degree murder in the death of 21-year-old Maurice Girlalala Harrison. As of the latest public updates, no trial date has been announced, and no plea has been entered publicly in any available reports. Court records also show no formal self-defense filing, no motion declaring such a claim, and no publicly documented explanation from the defense regarding the events of November 14th. The Broward County State Attorney's Office continues to review evidence. BSO detectives are still gathering statements, analyzing digital data, and preparing the case for the court phase. Until the trial begins, this remains an active investigation, one in which both the facts and the legal strategies are still developing. What isn't uncertain, however, is the emotional impact. As news of Maurice's death spread, an overwhelming wave of grief rolled across social media. Her TikTok comment sections filled instantly. Her last Instagram post, once a space for lighthearted banter, became a memorial. Creators with massive platforms shared tributes, including celebrities like JT, who posted simple but powerful words honoring Maurice's life and presence online. One user wrote, "You brought so much joy to this app. I hope you knew how loved you were." Another said, "Black trans women deserve safety, protection, and life. Rest in power, Girlalala." Across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, voices repeated the same message. This shouldn't have happened. Not to her. Not to anyone. Maurice's family has described her loss as earth-shattering. Friends say the world hasn't just lost a creator. It's lost someone who made people laugh when they didn't think they could. Someone who was finally stepping into everything she dreamed of becoming. Fans continue to repost her funniest moments, her confidence pep talks, her wig tutorials, and the videos where she simply radiated joy. Every clip feels different now, heavier, more meaningful, more heartbreaking. The calls for justice continue daily. And many viewers, especially within the LGBT+ community, say Maurice's death is another painful reminder of the dangers Black trans women face, both online and offline. Jealousy, anger, miscommunication, and the pressures of a relationship lived in two worlds, the public spotlight and private emotion, all collided in one tragic moment inside a parked car. Maurice Girlalala Harrison should still be here. And as this case moves toward the courtroom, one question remains. How did a love story turn into a tragedy that shook an entire community? If you want more deep dive storytelling like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new Crime Bitz episode.